Hi everybody, this is Jazz, aka Trend Trader for you. So I hope everybody got to watch the fight, and I think it was a fair fight. It could have been a little bit more excited. So Floyd, I guess he keeps his undefeated title with himself, and another win and probably another fight, 49 and 0, and he could retire, right? So that's that, and we'll get right into the analysis. And hopefully we'll wait for another fight. I don't know, maybe next year or 6 months, maybe rematch. You never know, right? So, anyways, that's that. I want to just give an update on that. So let's dive into the SPY analysis, right? Nothing much has changed actually, right? Weekly chart, nice bullish uptrend, right? Broke out of this kind of triangle, and price closed above. Let me zoom in a little bit above this trend line. And last week was kind of came down in the same area. I'll show you that in a minute where the daily support was, and created this nice bottoming tail. And if you're calling this a hammer, this is not a hammer, okay? There are a few characteristics that this isn't hammer, okay? Somewhat of a hammer, and it has a little bit of a topping tail on it. Ideally, the hammer shouldn't have a topping tail. Small wick is okay, small tail is okay, but preferably the tail has to be twice as the body. Okay, so this is the body, right? My bad. The body has to be small enough so that the tail is 2 times longer than the body itself. Okay, but that didn't happen in this one. And if you were to technically, if you were to measure it out, this is coming a little short of that. Okay, but it's not a hammer. Hammer happens in a downtrend, not in an uptrend. Okay, you could actually call it a more like a maybe pass for hanging man. Okay, so going to the daily chart, which we reviewed many times, right? So daily chart, this was the support area that was given to the members every single day. It was discussed while the price was in here, and we alerted about how price could come down and test this area and have it bounce up. It did here, went up again. We talked about this doji candle. We talked about this bearish engulfing candle. Last week analysis was only meant for the paid members, guys. So this was all talked about it. I sent you guys the Euro USD analysis, but this was how we talked about the doji candle, bearish engulfing candle. And if somebody were to short it, this would be the target, okay? Because this is where the support is. This is where price bounced out of here the last time. So as the price comes in here again, well, you could expect another bounce. And also, if you look, uh, go back into the day weekly chart. That was a trend line, right? Trend line test of it, which was again alerted. Trend line test was again what came into play along with the support and your support that was in this area. So as of right now, we're still seeing a nice daily uptrend. Okay, you have a higher high being made. You had a continue. The price is continually making higher lows, which is healthy. Even right here, right here, and right here, and possibly another push to the upside. So let's see what brings next week. Okay, and prices, I don't have the SMAs on here, but price is still above your 20, 50, and 200 as of last week. I'll go into the smaller time frame, okay, in a minute. Let's see. And as far as the smaller time frame, if you look, I'm in a actually let's go into 30 minutes since that's one of my favorite time frames. So going back into 30 minutes, just keep coming up with the trend line, right? So if you see prices again testing a smaller time frame trend line, okay, you have another trend line in here. So somewhat of a triangle within a triangle, right? You could have that. You can have a bunch of patterns happening just in the uh, big picture itself, right? So as you can see, your lower highs are being connected here. Possible move out of here could push this to test this area. Okay, this area would be your next resistance to be tested, and this area is next resistance to be tested. However, this is the most critical area that I am waiting for it to test. Okay, this is the ideal resistance where if the price comes in here, we could see somewhat of a correction from this area to the downside. Okay, uh, the reason why I say that, these are tested area. This resistance has been tested here, and once it comes here, there'll be another second or the third test, and once this clears, These could be just simple traps. Price could simply bounce out of above this area and come test this area before it comes to a nice correction mode, right? But overall, the picture was still bullish, right? Weekly is bullish, and even daily is now bullish too. And I'll talk a little bit more detail once after I stop this and exactly where the areas are where we can look for bounce, okay, as far as the support for the paid members. And if you're we talk about a lot of stuff in these videos, and I encourage you guys to just take the trial and come on and try out the 1 week trial in the chat room and see what I talk about in the pre-market analysis, right? What kind of areas that we pick where you can actually possibly see a bounce. Let me show you something real quick, okay? um, Going back in the 15-minute, right? So this area, and this was highlighted not just 1 day before. We've been talking about this for at least ever since the price was here. We talked about how this area would come into play. We talked about how this area would come into play. But I always, kept an emphasis on this area right here. Okay. Also, we're in the daily, but I talked about how this area would come into play as if the bounce were to come in here. And as you could see, in a smaller time frame, we're in a 15-minute, that price came out of here, right? And price bounced out of here. Even though you can't trade this gap, but if you're prepared, you don't have to simply take the trade. You can, if you're following the SPY, you can follow a bunch of other stocks that are acting similar to SPY. So you don't have to directly say, okay, I'm going to trade SPY, even though it traded to the upside. It's hard to keep something overnight if you're a day trader, right? But if you have a swing trader analogy or a swing trader mentality, you can say, okay, if the price is in my area, I'm getting a reversal, let's go to the upside, and if it gaps to the low side, that's a stop out. That's how the trading is. But your analysis was done as of this support area. So even if it gap down, you know that if you're proven wrong, you're proven wrong. But if the price comes out and bounces out of from this area to the upside, you know that you follow the rule, you follow the plan, you follow your exit, you follow your target, you whatever it is that you follow your stops, right? But you have to design and your brain to think like a robot. Okay, so you have to follow every single step that you take. Either it's a short side or a long side, but you have to have a plan to it. So okay, so I'm going to pause this here and continue on with the paid member, but 1 week trial is still on the Facebook, and I'll probably put a link I have put that link in the emails that I've sent out to you guys. So try it out if you like it good. And we not only just talk about day trading, it's all about the swing trading, the mutual funds, then all the stuff that you need to be talked about regarding the trading and or the technical analysis. All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend.